presentation and intended use.
This is an indispensable equipment in the preparation of homogeneous and balanced rations, ideal for feeding the herd.
The horizontal mixing wagon loads, cuts, mixes, transports and distributes directly into the trough.
It consists of a mixing tank, a milling cutter frame, with the cutter equipped with independent and removable triangular knives. Inside the tank, mixing compartment, there is the mixing auger, with 2 types of removable knives and a single adjustable counter knife. Conveyor distribution system and flow control by gate, both hydraulically driven and command through levers.
Two-wheel drive system, height-adjustable tractor coupling header, by jack. Electronic weighing system, with precision indicator. 3 load cells and audible indicator.
Independent hydraulic system with its own oil tank, only in the version with milling cutter.
Machine components.
Mixing tank/compartment stores the components of the mix. PTO Cardan shaft transmits rotation and torque from the tractor to the machine. Hitch couples the mixer to the tractor. Tank filter filters the system's oil and air. Rear blade assists the milling cutter in removing the silage. Milling cutter loads the material from the silo to the machine.
Indicator electronic weighing system.
Planetary box transmits rotation and torque to the mixing auger.
Oil tank stores hydraulic oil.
Hydraulic pump pumps oil from the reservoir to the machine's hydraulic system.
Milling cutter frame loads the machine.
Discharge door controls the discharge flow of the mixture. Discharge conveyor discharges the mixture. Superior mixing augers assists in the mixing of ingredients. Mixer auger mix the ingredients.
Auger knife cuts fibrous products. Required tractor.
It is recommended to use a tractor category 2, with 540 RPM in the power takeoff in the following powers. 4 cubic meters mixer, from 50 to 60 horsepower on PTO. 6 cubic meters mixer, from 50 to 60 horsepower on PTO. 8 cubic meters mixer, from 55 to 65 horsepower at PTO.
Safety. The machine's operating manual is located in the specific compartment next to the oil tank.
Read this manual carefully before using the machine. It indicates the good safety practices that must be observed and respected during all stages of use. Get used to the operating procedures, maintenance, and safety information. We remember that the preservation of people's health and physical integrity must always come first. In the event of any doubts, please consult our after-sales department. Safety stickers, decals affixed to the machine, provide a number of important indications. Keep all safety stickers visible and in perfect condition.
Immediately replace damaged or illegible decals. In cases of replacement of parts containing safety stickers, replacement of the stickers is mandatory. Safety components and operation risk. PTO shaft safety guards, designed to prevent any contact with the shaft's moving parts during operation. Front transmission protection, designed to prevent any contact with the chain and sprockets during operation.
Ball valve 1. When closed, it prevents the passage of oil, blocking the hydraulic cylinder that moves the milling cutter frame. Ball valve 2. When closed, It prevents the passage of oil, blocking the hydraulic cylinder that moves the rear blade. Mill protection cover, developed to prevent any contact with the milling cutter and the cutter knives during operation.
Existing risks and required actions.
Never climb on the machine while it is running.
It is forbidden to stand on any part of the machine while it is in operation or in transport. There are risks of falling with serious injuries. Do not use the Cardan shaft without safety protection. Risk of serious injury in case of contact with the moving parts of the shaft in operation. Do not allow people or animals close by when operating the machine. The mixer was designed to be maneuvered by only one operator. The presence of people or animals in the maneuvering area may result in an accident due to being run over. Never approach the discharge conveyor with the machine on. Contact with the moving conveyor will cause an accident with very serious injuries. Never enter the mixing tank with the cardan attached to the tractor. Risk of serious accident if the machine is started unexpectedly with people inside. Do not remace under the milling cutter frame. Only stay under a hydraulic device if it is properly supported. The rupture of a hose or cylinder, oil leakage or failure in the hydraulic system will cause the silage loader to immediately fall, which may cause an accident with serious injuries and risk of death if it affects people or animals. Indicator assembly.
The indicator is supplied uncoupled from the machine to avoid possible damage during transport. Start by passing and connecting the female power cable of the indicator to the tractor battery. Make the connection to the battery, remembering that, for the electrical supply of the weighing system, use only 12 volts batteries. Connect the cable from the indicator socket to the tractor's battery power cable. Fit the indicator in the support, placing it from top to bottom. Connect the cables to the indicator, paying attention to their fit. First fit the sensor cable and then the power cable. After connecting the cables, turn on the indicator for a test run.
Hydraulic controls operating instructions.
The machine's actions are totally controlled by the operator from the tractor's driving position, controlled by levers, through which the désalage arm, the rear blade, the conveyor and the unloading gate are controlled. During the operation, the lever command must be positioned in the tractor cabin, from where the operator will have access to all the commands and will be able to operate all the functions. In order to facilitate the operation in this video, we will position the control levers on a bench. Discharge door. To open the discharge door, operate the control lever in the opposite direction to the drive cables. To close, operate the control lever in the direction of the activation cables. Discharge conveyor. To activate the conveyor, activate the lever in the direction of the activation cables. To turn off the conveyor, operate the lever in the opposite direction to the cables, until the central position.
Milling cutter frame. To raise the frame, operate the control lever in the direction of the drive cables. To stop, reposition the lever to the central position, and to lower the frame, operate the lever in the opposite direction to the activation cables. Rear blade. To raise the rear blade, operate the control lever in the direction of the drive cables. To lower the rear blade, operate the lever in the opposite direction to the drive cables. Milling cutter. To drive the cutter, operate the lever in the direction of the drive cables. To reverse the direction of rotation of the cutter, operate the lever in the opposite direction of the drive cables. Milling cutter movement speed. To control the speed of movement of the frame, turn the control knob located next to the hydraulic hoses. To decrease speed, turn the handle clockwise. To increase speed, turn the handle counterclockwise. Tractor coupling. For coupling to the tractor, it is important that the mixer is in a flat place and aligned with the tractor's drawbar. Use the jack to adjust the height of the machine drawbar to the same height as the tractor's hitch. Check the alignment between the hitch and the tractor drawbar. Carefully bring the tractor closer to the mixer, aligning the drawbar with the hitch of the machine. Place the hitch pin and lock it with the safety cotter pin. Return the jack to the working position by turning the crank. Leveling. The mixer must be level to ensure the accuracy of the electronic weighing system. If necessary, the height of the hitch header to the tractor can be changed. The header can be attached to the mixer body at different height positions. To change your height, proceed as follows. As a safety measure, block the mixer on its front. Remove the bolts shown on both sides of the header to disassemble it from the mixer and reposition it to the desired height needed to achieve a level mixer. Once this is done, the mixer is leveled and ready for work. Cardan shaft. The mixer is supplied with the cardan for connection to the tractor. Before putting it into operation, check that the length is suitable for the tractor that will be used. If it is larger than recommended, the cardan must be cut. With the mixer coupled and without the cardan, maneuver the tractor so that one of its rear tires is as close as possible to the machine header, without touching it. Couple the female side of the cardan, tubular bar, to the tractor PTO. Next, attach the male side of the cardan, solid bar, to the machine. Place the two PTO bars aligned and parallel to each other. In this position, there must be a clearance of at least 50 mm at each end of the cardan. Mark the shaft bars taking into account the mentioned clearance. In this case, the cut location is defined by the red line in the image. Move the shaft to a more suitable location for cutting. Lock the bar in a vise and make the cut at the markings made earlier. Pay attention to the proper use of PPE. Using a sandpaper flap disc, remove the burrs that remain after cutting. You can also use a file if you don't have the disc available. Once the cardan is in the proper size and with the proper protections, attach the cardan to the machine and the tractor. Special attention must be given to the assembly of the square profile cardan bar.
The terminals must be aligned, as misaligned terminals cause vibration, wear and breakage. Finally, don't forget to attach the shaft chains to the tractor and mixer.
Conveyor belt height adjustment.
The discharge conveyor belt has a height adjustment system that makes it possible to adjust it to the height of the trough. With your hands, slightly lift the conveyor belt, just to relieve the weight on the support locks. Position the conveyor belt at the desired height and re-engage the latches on both sides of the conveyor pins.
Recommended position for transport. Available positions for unloading. Operation phases. The complete operation of the mixer consists of the following phases. Loading.
Supply with the ingredients of the mixture.
Cut.
Cutting the long fibers when used in the mixture.
Mixture.
Mixture of ingredients to obtain the feed.
Distribution. Discharge of feed into the trough.
For further instructions on field operation with different materials, consult the mixer instruction manual.
Maintenance.
Periodic maintenance, performed properly, is the most effective way to ensure maximum efficiency and durability for your machine. Read and strictly follow the guidelines of the maintenance chart contained in the machine's instruction manual.
Tension adjustment of the discharge conveyor belt.
Use the tensioning spindles to control the tension of the discharge belt, as described below. Loosen the nuts of the 4 bolts that hold the bearing housings on the conveyor belt. Loosen the lock nuts of the tensioners on both sides of the conveyor belt.
Tighten the nuts of the 2 tensioners evenly, until the conveyor belt is properly tensioned. Retighten the tensioner's nuts to lock the system.
Finally, retighten the nuts of the 4 bolts that secure the bearings and conveyor belt. It is important to adjust both sides evenly, in order to keep the belt centered. The M measurement must be equal on both sides of the belt. In case of divergence, adjust again.
Adjustment of the conveyor belt cleaner. The function of the cleaner is to prevent the accumulation of dirt on the inside of the discharge belt.
It must remain leaning against the belt, but without forcing it so that it does not wear out prematurely. Whenever you stretch the conveyor belt, check that the cleaner remains leaning against it. If necessary, loosen its support bolts on both sides of the belt for proper readjustment. Position the cleaner until it subtly touches the inner face of the belt.
After the cleaner is correctly positioned, retighten its support bolts on both sides of the belt. Changing the milling cutter knives. Check the cutting drum knives regularly.
When badly worn or damaged, they must be replaced immediately so as not to compromise the silage loader's performance. With the help of the control lever, lift the milling cutter frame until the cutter is at approximately shoulder height, in order to work more comfortably. Close the safety valve of the hydraulic cylinder of the milling cutter frame in order to block any movements. Insert a mechanical lock on the frame's hydraulic cylinder as an additional safety measure. This item is not included with the mixer. Raise and lock the milling cutter guard. Replace the knives. Always replace one knife at a time together with the fastening bolts, making sure that the position and direction are according to the originals. Note that all cutter knives are the same but must be mounted in line and in opposite directions. Mixer auger knives. To provide an efficient cut, with minimal power consumption, the knives must always be sharp and adjusted with the counter knife, remembering that these knives, when they lose their edge, they must be replaced. Dull knives or far from the counter knife demand much more power from the tractor, increase fuel consumption and interfere with the quality of the mixture. Note that there are two types of knives in the mixing auger, one more rounded and the other more elongated. Whenever you notice an excessive distance between the knives and the counter knife or a frayed cut of the mixture, proceed with the adjustments shown below. Adjusting the knives with the counter knife of the auger. This is an operation that requires great care. It is recommended that it be carried out by two people, one inside the mixing tank and the other outside, helping. During the procedure, it is essential to use personal protective equipment, PPE. Turn off the tractor and remove the PTO cardan before starting this procedure. Loosen the nut that secures the knife. Use the special wrench, supplied with the wagon, to manually turn the auger and bring the knives closer to the counter knife, aiming at their proper adjustment. The key is fixed to the wagon header. Fit the special key on the wagon PTO shaft. Turn the key to move the auger and check the gap between the knives and the counter knife. With the knife bolt relatively loose, position it turning until obtaining a clearance of at most 2 mm in relation to the counter knife. Retighten the bolt nut and repeat this procedure on the other demanding adjustment knives. Replacing the mixing auger knives. This is an operation that also requires a lot of care. It is recommended that it be carried out by two people, one inside the mixing tank and the other outside, helping. During the procedure, it is essential to use personal protective equipment, PPE. Turn off the tractor and remove the PTO cardan before starting this procedure. Note that the auger start knives are mounted upside down to each other. The knives leave the factory with a cutting profile and can be used in 2 positions. Once one side is worn, loosen its bolts and turn the knife 180 degrees. When they lose the cut on both sides, the knives must be replaced. To replace the knives, remove the nuts and washers securing the knife bolts. Remove and replace the worn or damaged knife with a new one. Make the replacement from the rear of the mixer to the front. Pay attention to the correct mounting position of the knife. Insert the new knife by tightening its set bolt. Place the new knives in reverse order, from the front to the back of the mixer. Tires. The correct pressure of tires is essential for their durability. Check pressure after the first 10 hours and monthly thereafter. Calibrate as needed with the following calibration pressures. For 4 and 6 cubic meters mixers, 52 psi, 3.6 bar. For 8 cubic meters mixers, 120 psi, 8.3 bar. Augers roller chains. Inadequate chain slack can cause noise, premature wear and interfere with machine performance. Check the slack every 50 hours of work or weekly and make the adjustment whenever necessary. Loosen and remove bolts and chain guard. Check the chain tension and if you need adjustment, proceed as follows. Loosen the bolt that holds the gear to the tensioner. Loosen the lock nut of the tensioner. Loosen or tighten the nut for the necessary adjustment of the chain. After adjustment, retighten the lock nut to lock the tensioner. Finally, tighten the bolt that secures the gear to the tensioner. Replace the chain guard and retighten its fixing bolts. Lubrication. Proper and regular lubrication is indispensable to guarantee a good performance and durability to the machine. Cardan shaft lubrication. Using a grease gun or pump, lubricate the Cardan crossheads every 8 hours of work. Lubricate the bars every 20 hours. For this operation it is easier to do it with the shaft uncoupled. Use lithium-based soaps lubrication greases, grade NLGI2.
Lubrication of the milling cutter bearing. Lubricate the grease points every 10 working hours or daily. Mixer auger lubrication. To access the mixing auger lubrication point, first raise the milling cutter frame and fully lower the rear blade. Close the valve of the milling cutter frame's hydraulic cylinder. Insert a mechanical lock on the frame's hydraulic cylinder as an additional safety measure. This item is not included with the mixer. Lubricate the grease points every 10 working hours or daily. Use special lithium soap-based bearing grease, NLGI2 classification, example Lubrax LITH2. Conveyor belt lubrication. Lubricate the grease fittings every 50 hours or weekly. Use special lithium soap-based bearing grease, NLGI2 classification, example, Lubrax LITH2. Mixing auger bearing lubrication. Lubricate the grease fittings every 50 hours or weekly. Use special lithium soap-based bearing grease, NLGI2 classification, example, Lubrax LITH2. Lubrication of hydraulic cylinders and joints. Lubricate the indicated points every 50 working hours or weekly. Use special lithium soap-based bearing grease, NLGI2 classification, example Lubrax LITH2. Rail lubrication. Lubricate the indicated points every 50 working hours or weekly. Use special lithium soap-based bearing grease, NLGI2 classification, example Lubrax LITH2. Jack lubrication. Lubricate the indicated points every 50 working hours or weekly. Oil change in the milling cutter gearbox. Raise the milling cutter frame about 1.5 meters off the ground for oil level check and oil change. Close the valve of the milling cutter frame's hydraulic cylinder. Insert a mechanical lock on the frame's hydraulic cylinder as an additional safety measure. This item is not included with the mixer. Using your hands, turn the cutting drum until the opening is positioned over the gearbox filler plug. Using an Allen wrench, remove the plug. Also remove the level plug. By hand, turn the cutting drum to position the opening under the gearbox, towards the drain plug. Remove the drain plug and allow the oil to drain completely. Replace the drain plug. Fill with the recommended oil until it starts to leak from the level. Replace the level plug and then the fill plug. Planetary gearbox oil change. clean and remove the breather. Remove the drain plug and allow the oil to drain completely. Replace the drain plug. Fill with the recommended oil in a quantity of 4 liters. Replace the breather plug. PTO gearbox oil change. Clean and remove the breather plug. Remove the drain plug and allow the oil to drain completely. Replace the drain plug. Refill with recommended oil to the max level in the sight glass. Replace the breather plug. After refilling, make sure the oil has reached the max level in the sight glass. Using the machine with oil below the indicated level can seriously damage the gearboxes. Hydraulic oil tank, oil and filter change. Oil maintenance is essential for the proper functioning of hydraulic systems. Turn the filter cover counterclockwise while holding it down and remove it from the filter. Remove the drain plug from the tank and allow the old oil to drain completely. Replace the tank drain plug. Refill the tank through the filter with new oil. Specification: ISO VG46 hydraulic oil in the quantity of 90 liters. Refilling must take place until the oil reaches the max level line on the tank white glass. Replace the filter cover. Turn on the tractor and fully activate the machine's hydraulic system, lift the milling cutter frame, activate the milling cutter, lift the blade and the unloading door and activate the conveyor belt. At this time, part of the oil from the tank will migrate to the system through the hoses. Recheck the oil level. If lowered, complete to the indicated level. Changing the oil tank filter elements. Filter elements prevent contaminating particles from penetrating the hydraulic fluid. First change the oil and air filter elements after the first 50 working hours. Next exchanges, the 2 filter elements must be replaced when the pressure gauge needle exceeds the green range indicated on the dial. Changing the oil filter element. Turn the filter cover counterclockwise while holding it down and remove it from the filter. Remove and replace the oil filter element. Insert a new filter element in the same specification as the original. Replace the cover with the spring, turning it until it is tight. Changing the air filter element. Turn and remove the cover, to then remove the air filter element. Install a new filter element in the same specification as the original. Finally, replace the cap, turning it until it is properly tightened. conservation and cleaning. As important as preventive maintenance is your machine daily conservation. This special care consists of cleaning and protecting against the weather and corrosive effects of some products. Remove any crop residues from your machine. Do a thorough wash. Dry any water that has accumulated in the machine guards. The hydraulic components should only be cleaned with soft water jets to avoid damaging the seals. It is recommended to perform, at the end of each season, a machine general overhaul at your dealer or at the factory.